Welcome back to the weekly wrap. And as the thumbnail says, it is Women in League round. And I tell you what, the females in the tipping competition made it really easy for me because they absolutely dominated. A massive big congratulations to Libby, my daughter, who topped round 20. But she was joined by 4 other ladies and 1 token female. I know Snapper Racing doesn't watch the video, so let's just throw them in. The top 5 people for round 20 were females. So again, a congratulations to Libby, Debs, Snapper Racing, Tiger Alley, and Tipperary Panther, all getting 7 correct, and their margins just slightly different. But Libby Garrard, she tops round 20. Now, the theme continues because the overall Garrard's Gold tipping competition is not only a female, she's also joined by 3 other females. The top 4 people in the Garrard's Gold tipping competition are females. So, Maddie, she's the overall leader with Juzzy Bear on 99, 356 as their margin. So they're joint leaders at the moment. SSTID on 99, 368 as her margin. And Millie Moo, 98, 320 as her margin. So the top 5 people in our competition are all females, and they made it extremely easy to theme round 20 this week. Let's have a look at the teams competition. And you can see the head-to-head there. You got Team Davis beating Team Lewis 53-52. Team Gasnier too good for Johns. Team Churchill went down to Team Meninga. Messenger was dominated Team Beatson 58-53. We'll have a look at the detail within those head-to-heads. And like I said, Team Davis just 1 point better than Team Lewis, led by the rock pile over there in Team Davis land. Nobody got 7 points in that head-to-head. That's interesting. Let's have a look at the Daily M points. And the rock pile, he gets 3 points. Garrow 51 gets 2 points, and D-Train gets 1 point. The next head-to-head, you've got Rabbits Forever leading Team Johns, but not to victory because Snapper Racing and Tipperary Panther led Team Gasney with both getting 7 correct. Let's have a look at the Daily M points. And they're the 3 that get points. Snapper Racing gets 3, Tipperary Panther gets 2, and Rabbits Forever gets 1. The next head-to-head, there's 3 people in Team Meninga getting 7 points, which is why they scored so high with 60 total points for their team. Nobody in Team Churchill got 7. Let's look at the Daily M points. Libby Garrard, she topped round 20, and she gets 3 points for herself. Tiger Alley gets 2, and Parasun gets 1. And then the final head-to-head, Team Beatson versus Team Messenger. Debs, she led Team Beatson, but it wasn't enough to get them over the line because Team Messenger was too good. Daily M points went to Debs. She gets 3. Bulldogs, Brady, he gets 2. He's collecting points all over the place. I'm sure he's really high on the overall ladder. We'll have a look in a second. And Summer of 69 gets 1 point. And there's the Daily M ladder. Bunnies 22 still on top with 16. Millie Moo on 15 points in second. And there he is, Bulldog Brady, 14 points, tie third with Righty and Connors clucking picks and Trey Allen. I'll quickly flick through the other points and the other people in the Daily M ladder. Just pause it if you want to have a look to see where you are on the ladder. There I am on the final page. Going absolutely terrible this season. But let's look at round 20 fixtures, round 21 fixtures. Beatson versus Meninga, Churchill versus Lewis, Messenger versus Gasnier, and Davis versus Johns. Now, the team comp ladder didn't change that much. It was just Team Davis jumped ahead of Team Johns. So now Team Davis is in 3rd spot. And that's everything that I've got to cover. Now, let me just put myself on the main screen. I do have some notes, actually. Let's just run through. We had 11 people, really 10 people, that didn't put tips in for round 20. That's probably the record that we've had. Just remember it, if you don't put your tips in 3 times, you will drop out of that team and the reserve will come in, and then you won't be eligible for your money back $25 for the team's comp if your team happens to win it, because we're only about 3 weeks before the finals. I'll run through the list of people that didn't put their tips in. So just as a reminder, Mitch Storm, Jacob Cartwright, Bronx, Hendo, who's that? Howie, Jules, SSDD, Paddy, Six Reaper, Hain Plain, and obviously Dinky Die. Now, that means there were some changes for the teams in across the comp. I'll run through what those changes were for round 20. Some were permanent and some were just for this week because there were so many people that didn't put tips in. Team Lewis, we had Hammer Time come in for Jules. Now, Jules hasn't put a tips in 3 times, so that's a permanent change. So Hammer Time is now a full proper playing member for Team Lewis. Well done. Hopefully they do really well. And unfortunately, Jules drops to the bench. Now we've got Bunga comes in for Jacob Cartwright. That's just a temporary thing. Team Gaznia, we had the Riddler. He was an emergency. We had about 4 or 5 emergencies who weren't actually part of reserves, but some teams we've gone to the emergencies. So he's coming for Mitch Storm for round 20. The People's Champion, I think he was also an emergency. He came in for Hendo. That was Hendo's first time of not putting tips in. So it'll go back as default unless you don't put your tips in 3 times. It's not a permanent thing. So Hendo's back in the Team Gaznia next week as long as he gets those tips in. Team Johns, we had Fetzluck. He came in for Bronx, who hasn't put his tips in twice now. I think he's on his, one more time, and then Fetzluck will be a permanent Team Johns member. And then Team Churchill, we had Maddie. She came in for SSDD. Now, our overall tipping comp leader, or joint leader, Maddie, joined Team Churchill just for this week. But I think SSDD, that's your second time. So you got one more time as well. And that would be a permanent change next week if you don't get your tips in. But that's everything I wanted to cover off. It was women's in league round. The women are absolutely dominating the competition. And then finally, I'll just end with the Rockpile. He had his 50th birthday last weekend. Unfortunately, mate, I couldn't make the celebrations to go and have a beer with you, but I'm sure I'll see you sooner than later, and I will enjoy a beer then. Well done on making it to 50 years old. That's an achievement in itself. And that's all I've got. And I don't know if Snapper Racing watches these videos, but I'll find out soon enough. Now that I've put him in with the top 5 females, I'm sure I'll get a message or two if he does watch the video. And Dolo pointed out to me last week I had an absolute shocker with the whistle, so I'm going to give it another crack. As I always say, keep your tips smart, your banner sharp, and remember, it's all fun and games until the final whistle. Yeah, that's a lot better.